It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40 plus states, including California and Texas. Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code GOAL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code GOAL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40 plus states, including California and Texas. Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code GOAL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code GOAL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander. I'm here to host my show, Life After Happiness. My co-host, Kelly, is still sick, and she is recovering, but we wish her well. Now, my guest today is Rob Gutro. Are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah. Last time you were on, I think you told me some things about how that it was something about anniversaries and birthdays or something. Am I remembering correctly?
Yes, you are. Yes, anniversaries, birthdays, and holidays are very important when it comes to spirit.
Okay. So, do you, like, for instance, say a pet dies, do they tend to appear on the birthday, or?
Yes, usually it's around birthdays, anniversaries, or holidays that pets will make an appearance. So.
Okay. Now, when you say make an appearance, what do you mean?
It means that they can communicate with the living in many ways, which we can discuss. There are probably about 20 or 30 different ways that pets can make an appearance. But, Jonathan, for those who don't know me and didn't listen to the last podcast, right. Just so they know, I'm a medium and an author of 5 books and also a paranormal investigator, all in my spare time. And during the day, I'm a scientist.
Okay. Now, when you're a scientist, like, what do you do in the ring? Are you? It says here that you've been devoting some scientific explanations as to how energy is the baseline for the afterlife. Is that correct?
That's right. I use energy as a baseline for the afterlife. It's really all about energy. I'm actually a meteorologist. So I'm very much.
So you're a meteorologist.
Yes.
You're what? Okay. Now,
so
let me ask you this: is there a difference between how an animal appears to someone than how a pet, and then how a person appears to someone? I would think there would be differences because the animal's life is pretty much devoted to you. A person, they had their own life. Do you understand what I'm saying?
There is definitely an unconditional love that pets have that people do not have for each other. Pets can come to us and give us signs in many different ways. And there are a lot of similarities in the way that pets can communicate as people do from the other side. But in terms of visible appearances, which is one way that pets can communicate, they either look like a shadow or a quick blur out of the corner of our eye, or sometimes we actually see them visibly. We see them head on, just as we can with people.
Have you ever? What's the most profound communication you've heard about?
Well, gosh, it's hard to. there are so many. But I will tell you that animals, as a medium, for me, it's a little easier than the average person. Pets show me from the other side the experiences that they had when they were in the physical life. So they can show me their favorite toy. They can show me their favorite place to sleep in the house. They can show me what the person looked like that they're on the other side with. There are a lot of different things that pets can communicate to me to help prove their identity, including how they felt when they passed away. So I feel they share their pain of death. So I've had a lot of different experiences shared by pets.
You know, we had basically, I've had two dogs. One was named Gretchen and the other one was named Hazel. And the weird thing about the two dogs is that one, their birthdays were a day apart. They were both like, one was like February 2nd and the other one was February 1st. So it was that they were a day apart, and their demeanors were almost like very, very much alike. It was sort of like they didn't really pick up on anything, or they both had bad eyesight, but I mean they were Cocker Spaniels, so it was understood. But what happened was that the first one we lost on a cruise. Apparently, we left them left Gretchen in the garage, and Gretchen. I think the neighbors left Gretchen out so that she could go walk, and then they couldn't find her. She escaped, and that was a very sad moment, to come back from a cruise and then find your dog gone. But and it was over Christmas too. I mean, do you feel that is it possible that like one dog could be a reincarnation of another dog? Are you there?
Yes. Sorry. That's a great question, and I actually get that question very often. And the answer to that is really no. Because what happens is when a pet passes away, they wait until we pass away before we all come back. Often pets in spirit will come back and they will train the new pet or an existing pet to have a habit or a couple of habits that they had when they were alive. So that's why you're seeing maybe another dog having the same traits as your other dog that passed.
Would you be able to tell, like, what happened to Gretchen? I mean, like, or would you be able to do that, or?
I could. I could certainly try and tune in to what happened to Gretchen. A lot of people will email me, and I do this on my spare time. But if they email me a picture of their pet and their pet's name. And then any questions they may have, I can tune in.
I understand. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I don't have that offhand, but I guess the thing is, it's not. I mean, it's just that it's like I've often wondered about the two dogs being very, very similar, to the point where, it was like, oh, well, Gretchen was doing a lot of the same stuff that, Hazel had a lot of skin problems, but, they were very similar. One was very, and they both had this incredible, they were both adorable dogs, but going with what you're saying.
Were they both living at the same time, or did one pass before the other?
I'm going to assume that there was one. See, we don't know what happened to Gretchen. But we, Hazel, obviously a dog like Hazel is not gonna. My guess is that if I were to say something, I would say that Gretchen is probably training Sophia, probably, because Sophia is my sister Cassie's dog. She has a Chihuahua. I'm not Chihuahua, a Chihuahua, and do the dogs know, like, if they live in different homes or something?
Yes, they do. It's all about energy, and the energy, and energy connects all of us. So think of energy as a spider web that connects every living person that knows every other living person, and pretty much we are all connected to each other. We all have a web of, that energy web or whatever. So that's how spirits can find us. And they can read, they can read our energy.
Mm-hmm. It's sort of like my sister Cassie is sort of the bear taker of the two dogs. And, so I would think that if they were to come back and appear to someone, it would probably be to Cassie. Because, it was just like she always took the mommy role, and so what they might do is, like on Cassie's birthday, they may appear on Cassie's birthday, right?
Yes, that's true. But they could also appear to other people if Cassie is still grieving them. Because what happens is grief acts as a wall. It acts as a block to any messages that a spirit is trying to get through. So, if Cassie is still really sad and depressed over their passing, then the dog or even a person would come to somebody else, like you, for instance, so that knowing you can get the message through to her.
Well, that's an interesting message because, I've never thought, I've often thought in my mind about how a dog would appear to me because, see, like, people talk, if you're not, unless you don't include pets, but people talk and they say, oh, it's all right, or it'll be okay. That's the way people communicate with each other. Dogs, they don't really do that. You don't. But well, actually, I guess you could have a dream where the dog is talking to you. Is that possible?
Sure, that's possible. But so here's the thing: the way the pets communicate that differ from people. Pets will they'll do a lot of different things. So coming into your dreams is actually the easiest way for a pet or a person in spirit to communicate with us, to let us know that they're okay. They don't usually talk. They don't, speak. Whatever language, but they show pictures. So in your dreams, they would show you a picture. Usually, a pet will show you a picture of a peaceful place to let you know that they are at peace, that they're happy. However, we have to understand too that one of the things that I outline in my Pets in the Afterlife books is that dogs and cats learn on a lot of different levels. So they learn words. You know, we teach them obedience, so they know what's right and what's wrong. They know routine. They have instinct. They have mothering instinct. They know how to play games. They know how to socially interact with other dogs. All of that stuff requires different levels of learning, just like human children. And as a result of all of that learning, they have the ability to communicate that to us, whether it's in dreams or, other things that they did when they were alive. Like you may hear their nails on the floor at night. You may hear the jingle of their collar at night. They could jump up on the bed. Cats like to do that in spirit. You may hear a bark or a meow, and it always sounds like it's coming from another room. So another way that's very common that who passed can make themselves known is to lead you to another dog or cat that looks just like them. And
now that
and why?
Another reason, not to cut you off, but that's another reason why I wonder if maybe Gretchen did pass, because Hazel and Gretchen, I mean, they was very, very similar, So that's why as soon as I'm not to cut you off, but I'm just saying as soon as you said that, I thought of that. Go on with what you're saying.
No, sure. So, well, see, what happens is when I'm conversing with somebody like you, is that I'm influenced to bring up certain things that will likely be relevant to the person to whom I'm talking. So I was influenced to say that so that you could understand how Gretchen may be communicating with you. By
so what
leading
you're
you to
saying
another
is,
dog looks like her.
You're saying that Gretchen was Hazel was Gretchen reincarnated.
It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code GOAL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code GOAL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code GOAL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code GOAL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Or
no, I'm saying that. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes. Yeah, our pets won't reincarnate until we're gone.
Okay.
They'll all be waiting for us in the light. They'll all be waiting for us in the other
side. Now, let me
side.
ask you this. Do pets that are passed on communicate with the pets that are still alive? Like, does Sophia and Gretchen ever communicate with does Gretchen and Hazel ever communicate with Sophia?
They do. They absolutely do. So as a paranormal investigator, we have actually brought one of my dogs on an investigation. And the reason is because dogs and cats have a different physiology. They can actually see a faster movement. Their cones and rods in their eyes are a different configuration than humans, so they can see faster movement than we can. And spirits move at that faster vibration. So dogs and cats can see them. Dogs and cats also have better hearing than we do. They can hear at higher and lower frequencies. And spirits speak at higher and lower frequencies. We use digital recorders to pick those voices up. So have you ever used a dog whistle before?
No, I know that. Yes, I have. Yes, only the dog hears it.
Right, and we can't hear it. So that's pretty much what's happening. Is that the dog can hear that whistle at a different tone. We can't, but spirits who have crossed and ghosts who are earthbound will communicate on those frequencies.
So they, in other words, the dog whistle. I sort of think I understand. You mean the ones that are passed on communicate on a dog whistle frequency?
Similar
right?
to the dog whistle frequency. Yes. Either a higher or lower frequency. I'm not sure if a dog whistle is a higher frequency than we can hear or a lower frequency, but it's different than the human ear can pick up.
I do remember that it's, I was amazed because it would like blow into it with a habit, and I realized, wow, I mean, it doesn't make any sound. But yet, the dog, ruff, 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 And, I mean, it is interesting to see what the other dogs think about, because the thing is like, we had another dog named Waldo, and that dog wound up in the paper, because this is why. What he would do is he would go on these trips, okay? And but the thing is that it was like Mom would go home, and he would pick up the dog from the groomer, and as she was taking the dog home, she would go and she would start cooking, and the dog would find its way back to the groomer, which was about 2 miles away, 2 or 3 miles away. And the dog just loved to. Apparently, there was this little poodle that he had a crush on, and I basically and it was just I mean, it wound up in the paper because the dog could travel, and we called him. He was in the paper. They called him Waldo, the wandering dog. And
so you're always asking, where's Waldo?
Well, the thing about dogs is that I've seen dogs do things that I never thought were possible. Like, I was out walking, and apparently this dog from I think it was one of the houses ran up to me, and the lady that was owning the house says, "Oh boy, she's just loving you. She's just loving you." And what happened was that so what happened was this dog, and I never seen a dog do this before. It got up on its hind legs. It took its front paws, and it wrapped it around me trying to hug me. And I was like, okay. I was like, wow, I've never heard a dog try to hug me before. So it was just amazing that they can be that smart. And another thing that's amazing is the fact that they can be, like I don't know if I ever told you this or not. I don't know if you ever heard this before, but I just always loved reading the Guinness Book, the World Records, and I wanted to see who was the most expensive guard dog, and apparently there was a dog that had a hit on it. The dog had a hit on it, meaning there were people that were offering money to kill the dog because the dog was so good at detecting drugs. I know, it was just amazing. Those dogs, they go through a lot. There's a lot of unconditional love. But is it different? I mean, when you say there's a difference, is there a warmer feeling with pets than it is with adults, with people, or is it about the same?
It all really depends on the personality of the person or the pet in spirit. And I will tell you as a dog dad that pets really do feel a lot more warm than people. People have much more widespread personalities, I guess. Pets are much more steady in their love and their consistency. So, I would say it's more of a comfortable feeling with a pet when the pet comes through.
So let me ask you this. If they, all right, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but there is a lady in California. She basically bought several acres of land, and she had 1,100 cats. She has 1,100 cats on those acres of land. 1,100. And
that's
a bunch of dogs.
Crazy. Okay.
And I'm thinking, what would a pet medium like you be like if you were to go to a place like that? You'd think of a lot of energy, don't you think?
Yeah, it'd be overwhelming.
Overwhelming
in a good
like way or bad?
Probably in a challenging way because, like when I go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where the Battle of Gettysburg was fought, it's like hearing 10,000 people screaming at me in a stadium, and I can't tune in to one person. It's a hard thing to deal with.
But I think my understanding is that you're a pet medium. Are you saying you actually see people too?
Oh yeah, I'm not. Yeah, when you're, I guess I've become known as a pet medium, but I can see pets and people, and I have been able to see and communicate with both since I was a kid.
I understand.
So 3 of the books actually that I wrote were out of the 5 were actually about the people that I've met as earthbound ghosts or spirits that have crossed over. As a matter of fact, my latest book is called Ghosts of England on a Medium's Vacation. And when I went to England, I ran into an awful lot of ghosts, human ghosts there, and I wrote about them. Although I did run into one dog in England. He was living in a museum that was a former home.
It's interesting, what they like. Okay, I'll tell you something. There are some dogs that are probably interesting to contact. Okay, there is, as you know, I'm mentioning the Guinness Book again, but there was a dog, they named him Zeus. Okay? And he is the world's biggest dog. He is 7 foot tall. Well, he was 7 foot tall. This is kind of where the whole the whole fact that you're a medium would chime in. I mean, I wonder, it's like, because, dogs, when you're alive, they're kind of aware. They have to be somewhat aware of what they're capable of. Like, okay, like, for instance, let's say we're talking about, I'll give you an example. Coco the Grill, which, by the way, passed on recently. You know who Coco the Grill is, right?
I've heard about Coco the gorilla.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, she was a famous gorilla. She was she got raised in captivity, and they gave her a kitten, and the kitten was she would actually pet the kitten, and she named it Ball because she would talk with sign language, Have you ever communicated with a chimpanzee?
No, I haven't. I have not, and I've not been asked to yet.
I think that would be interesting to do, due to the fact that, I think what it is that people. I think animals would probably be more warmer than people because, like right now, we wake up in the morning and there's at least 30 different things that we worry about. Looking good, talking to people that we need to talk to, making sure we eat when we're supposed to eat, making sure we're not rude to anybody, making sure that there's finances, all those other things. But the thing is that dogs, they don't really think about those things. They don't. I mean, obviously, the dog isn't gonna wake up in the morning and think, "Oh my God, that Donald Trump," or the dog doesn't wake up in the morning and think, "Oh my God, are they gonna pass that bill in Congress?" Or the dog isn't gonna think, are my taxes going to go up? Or, they don't. I mean, if I was a dog, I probably wouldn't even be thinking of those things. I would be thinking about the owner. Because that's all they really have to think about, really. I mean, they don't, and it's an unconditional love,
Sure.
I mean, it's, you thought about what I said. It is true. They don't spend, they really probably don't have a lot of the time things to worry about that we worry about.
Well, certainly when they're puppies, they have a lot to worry about because, when you think about when pets are born or bred and born, they're taken away from their mothers after several weeks, right? So,
right.
That's pretty traumatic for anybody to be taken away from your family and then brought into a stranger's house where you have to learn how to build up trust. So it's really important for people to who adopt to understand that we have taken this pet away from its mother. So we have to be patient with the pets.
It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code GOAL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code GOAL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code GOAL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code GOAL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Now, do different species have different energies?
Well, certainly cats and dogs have pretty much a similar energy. I would really have to say, as far as I'm concerned, no, because they have different abilities in communicating. For instance, a reptile would not understand our language. You couldn't get for some reason, reptiles, they learn their name, certainly, but they don't learn, commands and other things that dogs and cats can learn, for instance. So
now that's interesting that you bring that up, because my co-host, who's not here today because she's sick, but she takes care of exotic animals, and the animals she takes care of are like sugar gliders, tarantulas, snakes, and she has some bearded dragons. And this question is for you, Kelly. When I show you the recording, and I mean, you're telling me that a bearded dragon would have a different. Is there an animal that's more psychic than another animal?
It depends on the level of intelligence of the animal. Certainly, I've only dealt with domesticated animals, because those are the ones that can relate to people. Those are the ones that are brought up in homes and so forth. I cannot get messages from wild animals like elephants or tigers or something like that, because they really don't have much in the way of relating to people on a day-to-day basis. So they don't hear our language all the time. They don't know our habits. They don't live in our environment. It's really all about how much they can relate to us, so that we can understand.
It sounds like to me, based on what you're saying, that the most psychic animal I would think would be a guard dog, because
yes,
or at least the ones that take care of people who are blind. Because I mean, let's look at it this way. I mean, a dog that is a seeing eye dog, it not only is a dog, but has to be trained to go places where we don't normally see dogs, like
sure,
airplanes, the movies. I had when I was in college, we had a girl take a seeing eye dog to class with her, and she was on. I mean, that was a smart dog because it got me thinking, it's like, you know how in college people do pranks where they would yank the fire alarm? I mean, it's one thing to do that for us, but for a dog? If you go back to the dog whistle, you'll understand what I'm talking about. A dog whistle, a fire alarm to me is gonna sound loud, right? So but see, if that's the case, then that's going to make a fire alarm for a dog, right? Because
I don't think it'd be torture, but it would certainly be irritating.
Yeah, because see, it's going to be a lot louder, And actually, another thing that I've heard that we also tend to think about, we don't really think about things from the animal's perspective. Like, for instance, this is something that I learned when my sister Cassie bought her dog, and I don't know if anybody's ever told you this before, that if you have a dog that starts barking at you, okay, then what they say to do is to not yell at the dog. Have you ever heard that?
If it's somebody else's dog, you should not, because what you're doing, the dog perceives it that you're barking back and you want to fight.
No, well, actually, what it is, the way I understood it was, the dog perceives it as joining in, like the dog. Oh, okay, yes, you want to join in, and that's what she says. Especially if if it's so if it's your own dog, I mean, so they perceive it as joining in. And another thing that I've also heard is that a big dog, will love to go for a walk. But a Chihuahua isn't going to enjoy it as much because if you take it up a hill, well, once you take the dog uphill, it's suddenly a mountain for that little dog. So the dog's not going to like it as much, And I mean, it's interesting to see, but I'd really like to figure out why certain dogs like certain people other than others. I mean, why is that? Because, like, Sophia loves me, but she only loves God. She doesn't love guys, but she loves me. I mean, what do you think is the cause for something like that?
I think the dogs can read emotions, and they know when you fear them, and they know when you trust them. When people are afraid of dogs, they release a scent called pheromones, and dogs can actually smell that. Dogs have hypersensitivity when it comes to smell, so they know if someone's afraid of them, and if someone's afraid of them, they're not going to like that person. Well,
yeah, I mean, when the dogs that I ran into that bark at me, I just the only time I've ever had a dog like really bite me was a Chihuahua, but the owner was there, and she told me she had the shots and everything. But I just sort of, like, dogs run up to me and then they bark, and then I just kind of look at them, I just stare at them, because I mean, I'm thinking to myself, like, if I yelled back at the dog, then first of all, he's not going to know what I'm talking about. He's not going to understand what I'm saying. And if I say, hey, stop, well, he's not going to understand what you're saying. I mean, but it's. But let me ask you this: do dogs that have passed on know our language now? Because, I mean, obviously, I would think that because they're passed on, they understand things a little bit better.
Well, they usually understand the language that the words that they learned in their home. So the more words that you teach a dog when they're alive, the more words that they can use to communicate from the other side. If you think about it, some of the most intelligent dogs, the most intelligent dog breeds are Border Collies, Poodles, and German Shepherds. And Border Collies have been seen to understand 1,000 different words. So that's pretty amazing.
And
they have a huge vocabulary.
That dog that I told you about that ran up to me and wanted to give me a hug was a poodle. It was, you know, I mean, I was like, that is a smart dog, because the dog knew. And actually, another thing, this is so funny, because if my mom were to call in, this is a story she'd probably tell you about. There was when you see gorillas in the zoo, the one thing that we remember is, you know, they're a lot like us. They have families, you know, they mate, they you know, do all those other things. The one thing that we forget is that those things are very strong, very powerful, and that's an understatement. I mean, they're not the kind of people that you just want to, you know, they're not the kind of things that you just want to, you know, walk up to and try to pick a fight with. I mean, I think we both can agree on that, right?
It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport. Pick more or less on their projection, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code GOAL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code GOAL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Zaxby's Sensation Salad is so much more than a plain old salad. It's a salad, which begs the question, at what point does a salad stop being a salad and become a salad? Is it when you add Zaxby's fried chicken to it? Crunchy wontons? Asian slaw? Citrus vinaigrette? Teriyaki glaze? Sweet and spicy sauce? Or is it when you top it all with a handmade perfectly fried egg roll? Without a doubt, the egg roll. The Sensation Salad, only at Zaxby's.
Yeah, okay. Well, what happened was that there was, and I think you might have heard about this, where mom dropped her baby in the cage. And so, you know, we all understand, it's like, the baby saw, the gorilla saw that this baby didn't belong there. So the baby walked over to the gorilla walked over to the little baby, picked the baby, and handed it to the mom.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, I think that's the thing. Huh?
That's amazing.
Yep. I know. Well, what's amazing about that is that one, the monkey knew, but also it is true. I mean, you know, we keep forgetting that. I mean, that they're a lot like us, but one of the main differences they are from us is that they are freaking strong, and they could rip us in half. I mean, there's a reason you can't have a monkey as a pet. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they tend to, but I think that I mean, let me ask you something now. I mean, have you ever done a reading on a monkey?
No, I've never been contacted by anybody that had a monkey as a pet.
Oh, because I've heard that. I think that would be interesting. Actually, okay, let me ask you this: are you able, if an animal comes through, have you ever been able to tell just by the animal coming through what kind of animal it was? Like, for instance,
well, yes.
Yes?
I can say yes. But yeah, when I'll cite that story that I was started to mention earlier, that I went to England and I went into a museum and I sensed a dog running around. I didn't expect the dog in a museum. Certainly nobody expects a dog in a museum, but there he was. And I was actually able to verify with people who work there that there is, in fact, a dog that has been seen many times in this museum. So,
this dog used to be at the museum, and it's not anymore. Now, do dogs and cats give out different energy? Like, how is it different?
It's really just it's all the same energy, but it's all based on their personality. So, if your pet is shy in this life, they're going to be shy in the afterlife. If your pet is kind of in your face, kind of happy, energetic, and so forth, they're going to be the same way in spirit. And if you've lost more than one pet, the one that you will probably hear from is the one that has the stronger personality. So that doesn't mean that the one that's more quiet and reserved isn't there. It just means that they're letting the other one do all the talking.
Okay. But, I mean, do you feel that I mean, like, I've heard that, I've asked people this question about why, why do some people, have, like, why do dogs and cats not get along? Because there are cases in families where they get along fine. You understand? But, for some reason, dogs and cats, they just seem to not just, get along. And what happens is they said, my sister told me this, that it has to do with the different personalities. Like, dogs will, will always wonder about what you're doing, always wonder where you are, and want to follow you around.
That's true. Yes.
Whereas cats, it's, okay, stay away from me,
It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code GOAL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code GOAL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Stay away from me, Mm-hmm. And basically it seems to be the way that they do things,
Sure.
So I think that there does tend to be a little bit of that. And I do think that like you're telling me, like, for instance, it would be hard to, say, do a reading of a blue whale that died?
Sure. Yeah, it would be more difficult to get any kind of message. I mean, the only thing that animals that are not domesticated can really share with me is perhaps where the environment in which they lived, their some of their life experiences as they saw it and passed away. So there are things that certainly wild animals can convey, but because they've never lived with a person, they wouldn't know, it's very hard to relate otherwise.
That probably would make the lady that has the 1,100 cats all the more intense. Because, like,
that would be intense.
Well, I mean, I'm just letting you know. I mean, if you ever want to, would you ever be interested in doing a show where we interview the both of you?
Well, I wouldn't be able to provide her with readings on the spot because, as I said, it really helps me to get a picture of the cat's name, and any questions.
We do have a video software, and I do have a video software, and I was thinking of doing one where we talked to her with the video software, and you'll be seeing a lot of cats walking around in the background, a lot of cats and dogs. So. Yeah.
Well, it's certainly something to consider.
Okay, we'll look into it. I mean, it's going to be interesting because I mean, what you say is interesting, though. I mean, because animals, they have this profound love. I've never heard of, and I've heard of people that just basically have no love for anybody, but then they love animals. Like one of the things that I noticed was, did you ever see the TV show The Sopranos?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the episodes. Yes. Okay.
Well, this is something that if you see the episode, you'd understand a little bit. Okay, Tony Soprano had a soft spot for animals. Okay. And he could beat anybody up, it wouldn't matter, but as soon as you heard a bunch of ducks, or if you heard a bunch of ducks, or if you heard a dog or something, he was like, whoa, all of a sudden this is too much. And I mean, I think what it is that they don't do anything to anybody because they don't sit around and worry about anything to anybody. I mean, they have a different life, I mean, they don't have the same that we do, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yep.
They don't. But they don't have all the crazy worries that humans have created.
Or people don't. Dogs don't get married. But I mean, okay. Let me ask you this: do dogs ever fall in love?
I don't know if they fall in love. Well, I assume they do. Not not in the sense of the humans, like they don't romance each other, but they fall in love. They love each other.
I've heard that what dogs do is they lick each other's faces. That's what I've heard. I mean, that's what I've heard, at least.
Well, I think they'll lick anybody's face that they love, really.
Right.
I have 4 dogs, and they all lick my face. So.
No, but I've heard they do that to other dogs. But
yes, it's a sign of affection.
Yeah, or I mean, do you? I guess it's so. Is there a dog? Is there an animal that's probably more fun to talk to from the afterlife than any other dogs?
I think dogs and cats are the ones that I primarily have communicate with. I mean, I've communicated with some horses and rabbit here and there. The rabbits are able to tell me a lot less. But But dogs and cats certainly have a very wide personality. I've one of the messages that I got from this one dog, I think his name was Poopy, actually. He had shown me that he had a toy in life that he really loved. It was a yellow squeaky toy, and his message to his pet parents was to not let the other dog in the house that is still alive play with that toy. He wants that toy put aside with his ashes. And when I wrote that to the person that sent me the dog's picture, they wrote me back and they said that is, Poopy was very, very jealous of the other dog and did not want the other dog to have that toy. He would always keep that particular yellow toy away from the other dog. So, dogs maintain their personalities just like people do.
Now that's interesting because we had my other sister. She had a dog named Abby, and she was a black lab. And it was sort of funny because whenever we tried to get Abby and Sophia to like each other, we just couldn't do it. It was just, and they were just very competitive of one another and everything, and it was just this, So I actually tried to take a picture of them, and I got them in the same picture. But it wasn't easy to do. I mean, do you have any videos on how to communicate with animals?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
Do you have videos where you teach people how to communicate with animals?
No, I don't make any videos about how to teach people how to communicate with them. That's why I wrote the 2 books on pets in the afterlife, how they communicate. And I do give a lot of lectures. I've been doing lectures on how they communicate, and lately I've been doing fundraisers for animal rescues.
Wow.
Yeah, my next one is in Salem, Massachusetts, actually in January. I'm going to be doing a benefit for an animal rescue in Salem, Massachusetts in the middle of January. These sessions usually have like 30, 40 people in there, and everybody has their own stories. They all share different ways that their own pets have already communicated with them, and it's really an emotional time. Our pets are our children for those who can't have human children.
Right.
And they have the intelligence of a 3 to 5 year old child. It's been scientifically proven, as I wrote in my books. So they are children.
But I think also it might be interesting to do a reading of an animal in a zoo, because you said yourself, animals in the wild. But if it's in the zoo, like what happens? Have you ever gone to the zoo? What happens when you go to the zoo?
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't been to the zoo in a long, long, long time. So I think I'm overdue for a visit. But
that's
as somebody who's a medium and can sense energy, if you walk by a cage where there are animals and one of whom passed, I could probably feel the energy of grief coming from the other animals that are still alive. Animals feel grief, by the way, the same way people do.
Like, I like to wonder if it was, if a different animal would have a different energy. Like, for instance, a bear versus a wolf. I mean, a wolf is somebody who is, they always have this high level of being aware of everything, and whereas the an animal like it would be interesting to see who is the happiest animal. That would be an interesting thing to find out.
I think it all depends on the animal itself and the personality of the animal. animals also suffer from depression, just like people do. They suffer from anxiety. You have animals. You have dogs and cats that are on Prozac. Really?
I've heard that.
So they have the same personality and personality disorders that people have. So I think it's up to the individual. Like, and I always tell people this, that we really choose to be happy, or we choose to not be happy. I chose a long time ago when I was a teenager that I was going to learn how to enjoy life and appreciate little things every single day. And you can make that choice. You don't have to be, you don't have to be depressed. Granted, there are chemical things going on in our brain, but you can learn to train yourself to be an optimist. And that's what spirit wants. Everybody on the other side wants us to be happy, including our pets and including our people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we have about a minute and a half left, but I wanted to just thank you for coming on. I'm sorry that my co-host wasn't here to talk to you, but I'm sure I just texted her just now that I mentioned you about the lizard. And thank you for coming on my show.
Well, thank you for having me. And if anybody has any questions, they can go to robgutro.com or petspirits.com, and they can find me that way.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir. You have a good day.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport. Pick more or less on their projection, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code GOAL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code GOAL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.